Hello everybody, happy Sunday. Thank you for being here. Here we are on Sunday as always. Appreciate each and every one of you that are here in whatever capacity you can be. Live, catching the replays, sharing things, sharing the intention, sharing the meditation with others, inviting others to the meditation. All of it helps very, very, very much. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Hope everybody is having a good weekend and we're off to a good start of a great week. I'm going to go ahead and put the intention up here for those of you that have not seen it already. The intention is always released on Saturday, so that way you have a little bit of time to sit with it yourself before we meet together live Sunday night. Hope you get lots of really good things out of the meditation, but there are also some very, very good things that you can get out of your own contemplation and just seeing what comes about when you hear the meditation, when you hear the intention, when you think about the words, any feelings that come to mind, any thoughts, any changes that happens within your body, if it makes you excited, if it makes you a little bit anxious, happy, sad, anything, any sort of feelings, any thoughts, any reactions. That can all be very, very helpful in tuning the intention to you. So here's the intention for those of you that have not seen it. And if you have, let's just take a moment just to reflect on the intention. Connective spaces inspire purpose. Connective spaces inspire purpose. Connective spaces inspire purpose. So whether or not you know anything about the astrology coming up this week, just seeing what comes up with the intention when you think on it yourself, when you feel into it, just seeing what comes up for you. I'm also going to go ahead and apologize now if my voice sounds funny or, hopefully I'm not like coughing too much or anything, a little bit of a cold that's coming through the house. So keeping it pretty much at bay, but just throwing that out there. If I sound a little different or anything, or cut it short, just bear with me there. It's what you get with the live stream. You get exactly whatever is going on. So here's our intention. Connective spaces inspire purpose. So hopefully that invokes something good within you. Maybe not a whole lot of anything. That is okay too. But it's a positive one. It feels nice just hearing those words. Connective spaces inspire purpose. Probably wondering what the connective spaces are, and purpose, any sort of inspiring purpose, that feels good, right? So all right, so we have a few things going on this week. First of all, we're coming into the full moon. The full moon is tomorrow, Monday, January 13th. It's in the afternoon, 5:26 p.m. Eastern Time. So just before 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, my time zone. You may have to translate that to your own time zone if you live somewhere else. We have a full moon at just about 24 degrees of Cancer. I have 23 degrees and 59 minutes of Cancer. Full moon tomorrow, Monday, January 13th. The full moon in the sign of Cancer is always a little extra fun because that is the sign of the moon. Cancer is ruled by the moon. It's the home sign of the moon. There are the qualities of and what the moon stands for, and the qualities of Cancer and what Cancer stands for within our chart and within the sky above us. They're very, very similar. We get the meaning of Cancer from the moon, and we get the interpretations of the moon from the meaning of Cancer. So there's this overlay between signs and the planets that they rule. So when you have a full moon in the sign of Cancer, the sun is in the sign of Capricorn. That is where we had the new moon. You have a full moon that is in the sign of life, the sign of birth, the sign of the moon, so nurturing, the place where we find relations to family and to our own central little area. Cancer is a sign of nurturing and protecting and caring for those that are around us. There is a level of being able to create something and birth something within the sign of Cancer, but in a way that we are tending to it in the fashion of like it being our own little baby, our own little child. This could be actual motherhood. This could be bringing in and birthing a child. It could be fatherhood as well. Or it could be birthing some sort of project, some sort of ambition, some sort of really anything. It could be some sort of feeling, some sort of thought process. But when you have a full moon in the sign of Cancer, you have the full moon, which is the culmination, but you have it in a place that is able to create life and to bring things into its actual form. So maybe bringing something from being a thought into like actually being in action or being able to actually work upon it. So anytime we have a full moon in the sign of Cancer, you have this very rich, fertile, abundant landscape for things to grow. Often, the new moon started in the sign of Capricorn. Capricorn is the place of Saturn, so it's a bit more. It's Cancer. Sorry, Capricorn is very forward driven, very, very motivated, but it's not always the loudest about the way that it's going about. It's hard work, it's moving forward, but it's taking steps, but maybe taking steps silently or in your own space. So where the full moon is in the sign of Cancer here, where we have this height of fertile energy and this abundant energy of bringing things to life and birthing things and nurturing and tending and caring to things. It's something that maybe had kind of started, kind of quietly, and now maybe you're starting to be able to kind of see it or start to be able to feel it a little bit more tangibly. So you have that little bit of that play there between the new moon in the sign of Capricorn and the full moon in the sign of Cancer. So that's the full moon that we have tomorrow. So we're coming into this energy now. So we have this heightened energy of being able to nourish things, care for things. Meanwhile, Mars is in the sign of Cancer. We've talked a lot about Mars in the last few weeks. And how Mars is retrograde in the sign of Cancer, and it's going to be there through April, so it's going to be there for quite a while. So this tender, nurturing, caring area where we have this heightened energy, we also have Mars there. So Mars is retrograde there. Things are being reworked, things are being revisited. So when we talk about things maybe starting, things that were birthed or started, or not necessarily birthed, sorry, that's not the right word. Things that were initiated under the new moon in the sign of Capricorn a couple weeks ago, maybe it started to build kind of slowly, so kind of quietly. And now that Mars is revisiting, okay, now we are making the changes and we are taking the actions that we need to in order to be able to share this out loud, share it with the world, share it forward somehow. At the same time as the full moon is coming through, Mars is making a trine to Neptune in the sign of Pisces. So we have the full moon across the Cancer-Capricorn axis, and then we have from Capricorn to the sign of Pisces, we have a trine between Mars and Neptune. Mars and Neptune, when you have those two planets coming together, especially in a trine, which is it's a Jupiterian type aspect, right? So it's an aspect that expands and brings a working between these two planets that allows them to work together. Mars, the planet of drive, motivation, movement, going forward, action, motivation, and driven energy, willful, powerful energy. In the sign of Cancer, a watery, emotionally connected to emotionally driven energy, coming into a trine with Neptune in the sign of Pisces. Neptune, that energy that connects us deeply to something. What are you connecting deeply to? Are you connecting to your intuition? Are you connecting to some sort of emotion that you have been feeling? Are you connecting to some sort of aspiration or some sort of project that you have been working forward to? Mars coming into that trine with Neptune reaches deep into this inspired, willful state. So when you have Mars and Neptune coming together, you have the energy that is willing to fight on behalf of a cause or on behalf of some sort of value or something that you want to take forward, something that you want to do. You have this energy of really just fully immersing yourself in the thing like Neptune does, but doing it from a Mars type energy. So you're doing it from this driven warrior type energy that wants to keep moving forward based off of its motivations. In the sign of Cancer, it's motivated by water, it's motivated by emotions, it's motivated by family and ancestral ties, it's motivated by wanting to tend to the smaller connective spaces. It's about taking care of our lineage and connecting to that which came before us. It's connecting to memory. It's connecting to all of the steps that have brought us to where we are right now. So you have this very deep, deep connective energy between Mars and Neptune that wants to move forward by whatever it's inspired by, for whatever the motivation is that is at hand right now. It's probably a water motivation because it's something that deals with our emotions or that connectiveness between us and other individuals, wanting to connect deeper with others on some sort of level. So we have these different connective spaces that are opening up. And there's different purposes that are driven here within this week. Mars is purpose driven. Whatever its purpose and whatever its will is at the time may change based on where Mars is at. So right now Mars is driven by Cancer and lunar type themes, but it's still driven. It still wants to move forward within its own way. So those two energies coming together at the time of the full moon is at the time that we have this heightened energy, gives us this feeling of wanting to fight for our inspirations, leaving us feeling motivated to take the steps that we want to take forward, to connect to whatever it is that we want to connect from. Sometimes when we want to connect with something, it's us also wanting to disconnect from something as well. So there's two sides to that. If you're connecting to some sort of deeper, artistic expression, that has kind of come across you in whatever form that it has, then you are going to disconnect from something else that is around you in order to be able to focus on that artistic expression. If you are fully immersing yourself in your intuition, whatever that means for you, and your connection to the divine source, you are temporarily, at least, not focusing on something else that is around you in order to put your full focus on that. On the not so positive side, if we are looking to disconnect from something, then we might fully immerse ourselves in something that has us a little bit disillusioned or separated from reality or something like that. But it has you wanting to connect deeply and intently into whatever you are connecting to. It's very inspired, it's willful action, it's movement and a feeling of aliveness, especially when it comes to connecting to our emotions or the ways that we connect to ourselves and connect to others. Water, think about streams, think about different water bodies, lakes, rivers. They connect different lands, they connect different spaces, they allow travel between one area and another. Whether that's people on a boat or sticks that fall in the water or animals and fish and bugs and things like that, they travel across water easily. So water connects two things, and it connects two different people, all different which ways. So water represents our different connections that we have to others. Meanwhile, at the same time, we have a trine between Sun and Uranus. So the Sun in the sign of Capricorn, in an earth sign, trining Uranus in Taurus, another earth sign. So you have this earth trine at the same time that you have this heightened energy of the full moon in the sign of Cancer, which is very fertile and very nurturing and very much a area that is prosperous for life and other things to be able to grow and to be able to prosper and to be cared for in a way that they can grow safely and wholly. And then that heightened energy between Mars and Neptune with that trine there, just inspiring us somehow, inspiring us some way. Then you have this Earth trine between Sun and Uranus. Sun being your solar self, so your undying light, your soul, your ego, the will, the I am, the never-changing energy, the God energy that is within each and every one of us. Trining Uranus, the planet of change, rebellion, breakthrough, wanting to do something a little bit different, the ability and the feeling and the motivation to step out of exactly how we've been doing things. So maybe if Mars and Neptune are motivating you to be fully inspired by whatever the thing is that has been in front of you or shows itself in front of you. The Sun Uranus gives you that little bit of push to step outside of what you have been doing and outside of the comfort zone to be able to do something just a little bit slightly different to take that step forward. It's a liberation of the spirit. It's wanting to break free from whatever has been holding you back and whatever those ties are, and just wanting to do things just a little bit differently. Sun Uranus trines can be as big as changing your physical appearance. It's an earth sign, so depending on the house placement, there could be this this physically viewable transformation. So say like you've changed your physical appearance, or it could be that you get yourself up 5 minutes earlier every day. So one is really, really loud and really, really visible to others, and the other is something that could make big changes, but it starts with small changes that maybe only you recognize or you notice. So these different energies and these different trines, which are expansive energies, feel like they allow us to move forward with this this motivating energy that we have off of the full moon. So connective, or back to our intention this week, connective spaces inspire purpose. Connective spaces inspire purpose. We have many different spaces and many different layers that are connecting us this week. So the connection of the full moon connects us, the moon always connects us to our body. It always connects us to our being, where we came from, our birth, and the lineage that we have come through. But when you have that full moon in the sign of Cancer, it's in a space that is fertile, that is of birth, that is the place of the mother moon, the place that things are birthed from. On the theme of Monday, which is a theoretical birth chart of the world that has been used as a teaching tool for thousands of years. Cancer is the rising sign on the theme of Monday. So that shows and just illustrates if the rising sign is you and is the person that is being birthed. If we have Cancer on the rising sign of this theoretical birth chart, theoretically perfect birth chart of the world and of the universe, and we have Cancer there, the place that is birthing something, you have the sign of birth, of new life coming through there. So there's this very fertile energy to connect into this full moon. And then we have the expansions on it. Mars, yes, Mars retrograde in the sign of Cancer is not the easiest place for Mars to be. However, Mars is going to be retrograde in the sign of Cancer, so that it's not that all has to be gloom and doom coming from that. It's not that we are all just damned for the next 3 months. That's not the way this works. What it does tell us is that we are able to step back. We are able to retract, and we are able to slow down to be able to see where we need to care for these smaller connecting spaces of the themes that fall under Cancer, as well as the house where Cancer is within your own chart in your own life. So there is something for all of us in re-looking at and reconnecting to those small, tender spaces that need to be nurtured too. So self-care, caring for ourselves, caring for our families, caring for our homes and our small spaces. Many, many people are going to have family things that come up, ancestral things that come up related to memory and the way we process things. Those are going to be lots of things. Those are going to be themes that come up for lots of people while Mars is in the sign of Cancer. So while we have the full moon here in the sign of Cancer and we have these trines that allow us to maybe see a bigger picture or be inspired to maybe step outside of the comfort zones, do things a little bit differently, see things a little bit differently, be inspired to come up with some sort of creative artistic movement that is going to allow us to maybe do things a little bit differently or step outside of that normal box that we're in. It's cool energy for finding some sort of inspiring purpose and allow us to connect to that reflective energy that is the moon. That moon that reflects the energy of where we came from, where we are going, reflects the energy of our bodies, reflects the energy of the feminine that is around us, so women, children, mothers, sisters, friendship, all of those things. The moon connects us to others through our lineages and through our emotional connections. And then we have Venus squaring Jupiter on Thursday to wrap it all up into a nice little bow. If you're going to have a square, the one between the two benefics is the best kind of square to have, right? So we have the full moon. We have a couple trines. Now we have a square, but it's between Venus and Jupiter. So Venus is in the sign of Pisces, where Neptune and Saturn are. Jupiter, so sign of Pisces, water sign, squaring Jupiter in Gemini, an air sign. So the emotional needs and the logical understanding, those two trying to come together, not quite seeing eye to eye, but it's Jupiter and Venus. So there is a good chance that these two things that are not quite on the same wavelength or the same level will be able to reconcile or at least see the differences somewhat. So Jupiter in the sign of Gemini, looking at the information, looking at the details, pulling things apart and looking at things separately. Venus in the sign of Pisces is in the emotional collective water sign that wants to pull all of the things together and look at them as a big bowl of collective emotional soup, where Jupiter in the sign of Gemini wants to magnify all the different little parts and look at things separately. When you have the cosmic soup that is the sign of Pisces, Jupiter in the sign of Gemini has a really hard time picking out all of the little teeny pieces. So how can you marry those two things together? How can we find a way to look at the little details and pull the different things apart and be able to gain some sort of understanding from that while still being able to hold all of the pieces and look at all of them together. Feels like with the inspiring energy that comes earlier this week, we will be able to have at least enough optimism or enough oomph to be able to move forward with that energy and be able to find the way to marry the two of those. Excuse me. I've done pretty good so far. So, cool energy of connecting different energy and finding purpose within that. So, both the sun and Mars both have a quality of connecting to purpose, connecting to will, connecting to drive, connecting to outward energy of some sort. Excuse me. We'll see how far into the meditation we get today. Thank you for bearing with me when I have this little cold thing going on. I drank some water for a minute. Okay. Connective spaces inspire purpose. So, We have these different energies that are connective. The sign of Cancer is connective through its rulership of the moon, through the qualities that it relates to, connecting us to family, connecting us to ancestry, connecting us to our body, all these other things that we've already, all these Cancerian things that we've already talked about. Neptune connects us deeply to whatever it's connecting us to, okay? The Sun Uranus, may disconnect us in order to connect us to something else. But there's a way in which Mars Neptune will disconnect you from something in order to connect to something else as well. So, excuse me. I don't know, cool, inspiring energy to be able to see different, connect into inspiring energy. It's a full moon. It's a full moon in the sign of Cancer. So, lovely, lovely energy to work with here. And yeah, that's the astrology that we have going on for this week. I'm gonna change my things around here really quickly. And okay, so then the card that I got for today, Two of Wands, but it was reversed. So what I thought about when I pulled, as soon as I pulled this card, was if you have the Two of Wands in an upright position, you have a duality. You have two things that are existing simultaneously, right? Maybe like two choices or two things that are trying to work together, but they're two separate things. Excuse me. When you have two separate things, it's not that they are not able to work together, because they may well be able to work together, but they're still two separate things. When we have the Two of Wands that is reversed, it's telling me that maybe there's two things that are not working peacefully together, or maybe that these two things that have been maybe not fully incorporated. So maybe either you're trying to do two different things that don't feel like they mesh well together, or you're doing one thing, but there's something else that you've been kind of thinking about. Something else that you've been thinking about taking some sort of action on. Excuse me. When I'm seeing the Two of Wands reversed, thinking about all of the energy that we have going on this week, it's making me think of maybe there's been two things that have not been able to unify very well, but maybe now we can take those two things and somehow we can bring them together and unify them and almost make them one. When those two different things come together, they're going to make a new thing, okay? Bear with me. Hopefully this makes sense. So you take the two separate things and they come together and they intertwine. They're no longer just the two separate things. Now they're the two things that come together, but now we have a new thing because it is now two different parts that have come together in a way. Excuse me. So, what if there's a way that we can find a marrying of two different things, two different paths that we've been on this week, and be able to bring them together? Excuse me. I don't think we're going to get too far into the meditation today, guys. Sorry about that. So with this energy that we have this week, with the full moon, with Mars and Neptune coming together, with Sun, Uranus coming together, and then Jupiter and Venus, even though it's in a square, coming together at the end of the week. What if there's a way that we can marry two things together that we didn't really think could work together very well, or that we didn't think could come together quite the way that they are going to be able to come together? What if we thought that they were two separate things that were just going to be two separate things, and like maybe we could have both of them, but we could only have them separately? What if you can bring them together and marry them together somehow? Chances are there's something within your head that this is playing within your head, and you can see where the connection is, and it's different for each and every one of us. But where can you use this energy this week in these different connective spaces to inspire purpose amongst all of the different parts and bring that purpose together to unify the things? Excuse me. pulling out all the stops for the cold things, all of my remedies, and it's keeping it at bay, but the continuous talking. So I think that's where we're going to leave it at for this week. I will see you all again next week. We have, excuse me. Okay, cool energy that we have coming into this week. I hope that you take this next little while that we would normally be meditating together. And I hope that you reflect on the energy that we have this week and you come up with your own meditation. Take the intention and work with it. I will see you all next Sunday. The new intention will be out next Saturday, so that way you have a little while to sit with it. And I will see you all next Sunday. Feeling much better. All right, have a good night, everybody.